us continue kasi I believe we're done with the ITP. So if you remember, there are two types. So we have the acute, which are commonly in children, and chronic, common in adult. So the reason for the acute ITP is the antigen antibody complex that binds to platelet and destroy it. For the chronic, on the other hand, it is due to the production of autoantibody against the platelet that destroy it. Therefore, both of it causes thrombocytopenia. So in this particular example naman, or in this particular mechanism, you have the exposure to drugs, okay? Different drugs that developed antibody. And these are the following: alkaloids, tyrophoevan, and sulfonamide. So this is usually after the exposure of this drug that our body will create antibodies that can destroy platelets. So this is usually occurring 1 to 2 weeks after the drug exposure. And we have the hapten-induced antibody. If you remember in your IS, haptens are needing carrier molecules para maging immunogen. Now, if penicillin and penicillin derivatives, okay, these are example of hapten, no, mga antibiotic to, and they find a carrier molecule, okay, they will induce immune response, makakapag-produce tayo ng antibodies, and that antibody will also destroy the platelets. And we also have drug-induced autoantibody. So because of the exposure to gold salt, procainamide, and levodopa, we're going to develop these autoantibodies that are capable also of destroying platelets. So these are the other examples pa po of other drugs under the analgesics, antibiotics, alkaloids, hypoglycemic agents, mga anticonvulsant or sedative, heavy metals, as well as the other drugs. So all of these are capable of triggering the immune response, and also, no, as a result, will cause platelet destruction. Okay? Next, let's move on to your NAIT, or neonatal alloimmune thrombocytopenia. So the mother don't have the platelet antigen. So look at this. Miss Maricon Sorongon, paki-off naman ng mic. Thank you. Okay. So let's say this is the mother and the baby. Okay. So the fetal antigen, actually it's specifically fetal platelet antigen, was inherited by the baby or the fetus from the father. Of course, wala no ng nanay, no? So the mother don't have that antigen. So because the baby is in the womb of the mother will be exposed to the fetal antigen. So as an immune response, magpo-produce ng maternal antibody. Now, the maternal antibody is in the form of IgG. So that antibody can cross the placenta. So it will target the fetal platelet antigen. So what will happen to the platelet of the baby? It will be destroyed. Sa mother, walang problem. Ang target dito is the baby. The mother is asymptomatic. The baby will have manifestations such as thrombocytopenia, no? May petechiae, purpura, and pwede po yan mag-result into serious manifestations such as intracranial hemorrhage or death. Okay? And then the thrombocytopenia is equivalent to less than 30,000 cells per UL na lang. Naintindihan? So, 1 in every 1,000 live births to. So, ibig sabihin, common siya, no? Mataas yung incidence na yan. So, imagine, in every 1,000 live births, there is 1 that could happen, no? Na nait. Now, first pregnancy, 50% lang ang risk of developing this. Pero as the succeeding pregnancies occur, halimbawa sa second pregnancy, third pregnancy, pataas na ng pataas ang risk of developing this kind of condition. So sa second succeeding natin, ang risk na dyan is from 75 to 97%. Okay? Number 4 is neonatal autoimmune thrombocytopenia. So si mother may autoimmune disorder. Yung maternal antibody will cross the placenta. Okay, this autoantibody na maternal will cross the placenta and it will target the baby. So, kung kanina sa nait, nag-develop si mother ng antibody against the fetal platelet antigen, this time, ang reason naman, nag-develop siya ng autoantibody because meron siyang like for example, collagen vascular disease or SLE. So yung maternal autoantibody nag-cross ng placenta, ang target yung baby. Okay? So again, that causes thrombocytopenia as well. Because the autoantibody targets the fetal platelet. Okay? Next, post-transfusion purpura. So from the word itself, pag sinabi nating post-transfusion purpura, ang indication po nito or ang condition po na ito ay nangyayari after the transfusion of a platelet-containing product 1 week after, to be exact. So, example are FFP or fresh frozen plasma, whole blood. May mga platelet din yon, no? Ang nangyayari, guys, is that dun sa plasma ng recipient, nagde-develop ng allo-antibody against the antigen which came from the platelet of the transfused blood product. Are we clear? So, ganito po nangyari. So, halimbawa, ako magkakaroon ng blood transfusion. Yung blood product na binigay sa akin as the recipient, meron pong platelet antigen. Understood? Galing dun sa blood product. Since wala ako nun, what will be the result? I will develop antibody against that. So an example of an allo-antibody, I hope you're still familiar with your IS. Then, afterwards, kapag nag-develop na ako ng antibody against that antigen, it will complex with the antigen. And similarly with your ITP, anong nangyari? Magbabind po yan sa platelet. The platelet will be destroyed. Kaya merong thrombocytopenia. Naintindihan? Okay. And then, we're done with the immune mechanisms. So, total of 5 po yun, ha? So, 1 is ITP, 2 is drug-induced, 3 is NAIT, 4 is neonatal autoimmune, and this is the last one, the PTP. Clear? Just make sure that you know each principles. Ano yung root cause kung bakit nangyayari yung disease, kung bakit nasisira yung platelet. Okay? Next, let's move on to the non-immune. Ibig sabihin, ibang conditions or ibang factors bakit bumabagsak ang platelet count. Unahin natin ang pre-eclampsia at pregnancy. So this is a mild benign condition. Okay, bakit mild benign? Kasi ang platelet count dito is 100 to 150. So, hindi po ganun kababa, no? And by the way, transient lang po ito. Ibig pong sabihin, pag natapos ang pregnancy, babalik na po ulit yan to normal. Yung pre-eclampsia naman is associated to hypertension, seizure, proteinuria, and HELLPS. HELP stands for microangiopathic hemolysis, elevated liver enzymes. Kasama po dito ang lactate dehydrogenase, Okay? And of course, low platelet count. Pero yung low platelet count na yan, similar lang din yan with pregnancy, which is benign condition, no? 100 to 150,000 cells per UL. Okay? Transient po ito ha. Next, number 2, hemolytic disease of the newborn. The process or the principle why your platelets are destroyed is because of the red blood cell breakdown products. Ibig pong sabihin, after na malyse ang mga RBCs, yung products ng RBC lysis, it destroyed the platelet. That's why may thrombocytopenia. Pero ang thrombocytopenia ay moderate lang po. Hindi po severe, no? Or hindi severe na magkakaroon ng hemorrhage. So, moderate thrombocytopenia. Okay, next. Number 3. Okay, dito po makinig ng mabuti kasi this is usually similar. Okay, this is usually similar with DIC. So mamaya i-explain natin ano ang difference niyan kay DIC. Okay, let's move on to let's talk about the characteristic first. So you have ultra large von Willebrand factor. So look at this. Ultra large von Willebrand factor. So you have that because you are deficient with ADAM-TS13. So ano bang ginagawa ng ADAM-TS13? The ADAM-TS13 cleave ultra large von Willebrand factor into von Willebrand factor. Ito po yung functional na von Willebrand factor during the platelet aggregation. O recall natin, di po ba siya po yung, kung halimbawang ito yung von Willebrand factor, ito yung collagen, okay? Siya po yung nagli-link, kung naaalala ninyo, kay platelet. Di po ba? Involved siya during the adhesion. Correct? Therefore, kung kulang or kung wala kang maliliit na von Willebrand factor, mag-a-accumulate yung malalaking ultra-large von Willebrand factor. I mean, kung wala kang ADAM-TS13, mag-a-accumulate yung ultra-large von Willebrand factor na yan na magli-lead sa formation ng thrombus. Okay? Or thrombi. So, nako-consume po kasi si platelet, no? Si fibrin, von Willebrand factor, forming now white clot. So, what is the problem here? Nagdi-deposit po kasi yung thrombus na yan sa mga blood vessel. So, imagine ninyo, bumabara po yan sa mga maliliit na blood vessel. Now, what is the problem with that? Okay? Meron po tayong nade-develop na hemolytic anemia. We call it MAHA. Bakit MAHA? Microangiopathic hemolytic anemia. Bakit nagkaroon ng hemolytic anemia? Dahil yung RBC, once po na tumama siya dyan sa mga thrombi na yan or sa thrombus, magfa-fragment po yan. Masisira yung RBCs natin. Therefore, may lysis. Naintindihan? So, ito po. Yan ang reason kung bakit merong hemolytic anemia. So, meron tayong mafo-form na mga schistocytes. Diba? Fragments ng RBC po yan. Okay. Bakit mayroong thrombocytopenia? Ayan, na-consume po kasi yung platelet during the formation of the thrombus. Clear po ba? So may MAHA, may thrombocytopenia, may neurologic abnormality. Pwede rin tong maging pentad kapag meron pa pong inclusion ng fever and renal dysfunction. By the way, the TTP is also known as Moshkowitz syndrome. So, ibig sabihin, okay, by the way, ang common po ito sa mga babae than sa lalaki, 2:1. In every 2 female, isa lang na male ang affected. Pero, ang incidence naman nito, may sa bawat 1 million individual, no, na adult, 10 ang meron nito na TTP. Clear po ba yon? So ngayon, what are the laboratory features? So ayan, meron kang decreased hemoglobin concentration because of the microangiopathic hemolytic anemia. So, bakit mababa ang platelet sa PBS or sa peripheral blood smear? Kasi nga na-consume during the thrombus formation. So bakit may RBC polychromasia o kaya NRBC? It is because the bone marrow is responding. So ibig pong sabihin, nagre-respond yung bone marrow natin, nagpo-produce ng immature cells. Di po ba? So, para makompensate yung kulang na RBC. Right? So, makakita ka ng RBC polychromasia and even yung mga immature RBC na nucleated RBC. So, alam na yung schistocyte kasi nga nag-fragment, di ba? So, recall natin, intravascular hemolysis, di ba? During that time, nagbabawasan ang haptoglobin. Once kasi na maliberate ang hemoglobin or ang heme specifically from the lysed RBC, kukunin ng haptoglobin yan. So, the haptoglobin will combine or will complex with the heme, and then the haptoglobin will deliver the heme to the liver. Naalala nyo pa yan? Tapos, di ba, kasama si haptoglobin sa masisira. Therefore, mare-reduce. Then, bakit may hemoglobinuria? In excessive, okay? In excessive or in severe hemolytic anemia, okay? Nare-release ang hemoglobin sa urine. Okay? Sa liver, anong nangyayari? Kino-conjugate po, kinukuha ng albumin sa plasma, ang protoporphyrin. At anong ginagawa niya dito? Okay? Dinadala niya po yan sa liver para maging conjugated. Pero kung sobrang dami, 'di ba, ng hemoglobin na na-release because of the hemolysis, so you will also have increased serum unconjugated bilirubin. So sabi nga natin kanina, pati po yung enzyme na lactate dehydrogenase will also be increased. Yan po ay liver enzyme. Okay? So as you can see, sa bone marrow, mayroon pong erythroid hyperplasia, ibig sabihin mataas ang mga immature na precursors ng RBC. Even the megakaryocytes are increased in the bone marrow. So, etong dalawang to, evidence na gumagana, right? Yung bone marrow. So, if you remember, kapag ka naman hemolytic anemia, hindi naman natin problem yung bone marrow. Ang problem is in the RBC itself. So, dahil hindi naman po na-consume yung coagulation pathway, 'di ba? Kaya ka naka-form ng white clot kasi platelet pa lang din naman ang component niyan. So, white clot lang yan. Hindi na-activate ang coagulation pathway, normal ang coagulation test. Clear? Normal ang coagulation test. Okay. Next, let's move on to your HUS. So for HUS, guys, yung toxin, if you remember the STEC or the E. coli, specifically the EHEC, the O157H7 strain. So what happened here? The toxin produced by that bacterium were able to attach to the glomerular capillary. So anong nangyari sa endothelial cells doon? Nasira. Then, upon the damage and swollen endothelial cells, marirelease yung ultra-large von Willebrand factor. And that will trigger the what? The formation of the thrombo. So, bakit again may thrombocytopenia? Bakit may microangiopathic hemolytic anemia? Dahil po sa thrombus na na-form due to the release of the ultra-large von Willebrand factor. Malinaw po ba? Okay. So, eto naman yung laboratory feature. By the way, common ito sa mga bata, no? That is 2 to 6 per 100,000 individuals. 6 months to 4 years ang usually affected individual. Okay? And then, this is the DIC, which I told you earlier na i-discuss natin versus the TTP. So, ano bang pinagkaiba nila? Kung kanina, sa TTP, ang composition ay platelet at von Willebrand factor at hindi na-activate ang coagulation cascade, this time, ayan, activated ang coagulation cascade. Kaya naman, kung kanina sa TTP, normal ang coagulation test, dito po, it is prolonged. So your PT, PTT, fibrinogen, all of these are prolonged during the process. Therefore, ano pong mangyayari, no? Ganun pa rin, may microangiopathic hemolytic anemia pa rin po. Okay? Then, meron pa ring deposition ng thrombi. Clear po ba? So, ito yung dalawang difference niya, yung makikita nyo sa taas. Kasi ito, ang composition lang nito, platelet and fibrin. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ayan po yung tinatawag natin na red clot. Kaya na-activate ang coagulation cascade. Okay? Na-trap si platelet, therefore, bababa ang platelet count. Kaya severe ang thrombocytopenia. Clear? And then we have the purpura fulminans. In purpura fulminans, so kaya po siya tinawag na purpura because the patient develop blue-black cutaneous bleeding na maaari pong mag-progress sa necrotic superficial skin. Okay? And may also involve the deeper soft tissue. Now, common in children and neonate because of the infection. So, dito po sila Neisseria meningitidis, Streptococcus pneumoniae, you have group A and B streptococci. So, if you remember, this is your Streptococcus pyogenes. Your B is your Streptococcus agalactiae. Diba? And then Haemophilus influenzae po yan. And aureus. So because of the infection, ano pong nangyari? Ayan, na-activate hindi lang ang complement, pati na rin ang coagulation. Kaya anong nangyari sa laboratory feature? Ayan, prolonged. Pwede din naman no, na-activate ang protein C. Kaya may thrombosis. Okay po? So, ayan ang purpura fulminans. Ang cause is the infection. The infection cause the complement and coagulation activation that causes the bleeding. In return, ang thrombosis naman was caused by the deficiency, pwedeng inherited, pwedeng acquired of the protein C. So alam niyo naman kung para saan ang protein C, 'di ba? Yan po ay regulator or control protein sa inactivation ng factor 5 at factor 8. So kung wala niyan, over ang production natin ng coagulation. Diba? Okay. And then, eto naman yung pangatlo. Okay, di ba meron tayong platelet production, di ba? Decrease platelet production kung bakit may thrombocytopenia. Tapos, increase platelet destruction. And then yung third is dilution or abnormality in the distribution. So, normally, dalawa po ang distribution ng platelet sa ating katawan, di po ba? So, pwede pong nasa plasma sila in the circulation and pwede pong sequestered sa spleen. So, if sequestered sa spleen, in case of splenomegaly, anong mangyayari sa plasma platelet natin? Di ba, baba. Kaya may thrombocytopenia. So, kailan po kadalasang nagkakaroon ng splenomegaly? So, dito po sa mga condition na naka-enumerate dito, hepatic cirrhosis, cardiovascular surgery, yan, administration ng massive amount of stored whole blood, etc. Lahat po yan will affect the distribution of the platelets in our body. So therefore, magkakaroon ng abnormal na distribution or dilution ng platelets sa plasma. Clear? Leading to thrombocytopenia. Okay, now, let's move on to thrombocytosis. So we're done na po doon sa mga reasons or conditions associated with thrombocytopenia. Now, let's move on to thrombocytosis. We have two types, reactive and myeloproliferative. Pag sinabi nating reactive, kadalasan transient po ito. Ibig sabihin, once na nawala na po yung offending agent, kadalasan bumabalik po yan sa normal. And this is how it goes. Usually, it starts with low platelet count. Kaya siya tinawag na reactive. Kasi magre-respond yung katawan natin by increasing the platelet. After that, after few days, few months, babalik ng normal. Malinaw po ba? Now, eto yung mga conditions associated with it. Blood loss, surgery, etc. So by the way, the platelets here are still normal, ha? Kasi kapag myeloproliferative disorder yan, platelets are dysfunctional. Eto, normal pa ang iyong function for the platelet kapag reactive. Sa myeloproliferative, nagiging dysfunctional. Okay, we'll only talk about this one later, the essential thrombocythemia. Okay, start muna tayo sa reactive. So sa reactive, halimbawa, after surgery, hemorrhage, blood loss, magkakaroon ng thrombocytopenia for the first 1 week, 2 to 6 days, less than a week. Then after that, magkakaroon ng thrombocytosis for 2 to 4 days to be exact. Then babalik po yan ng normal within 10 to 16 days after the blood loss. Diba? So baba muna, then taas, then normalize. Post-splenectomy thrombocytosis, pag ni-remove ang spleen, bigla pong aangat ang platelet count natin ng more than 1 million. Bakit? Kasi wala na pong magse-sequester ng platelet. So sa plasma, dadami ang platelet natin. So kailan po ito nagmamanifest? So maximum po ng 1 to 3 weeks after the splenectomy, removal of spleen yan ha. Then it will remain elevated for a total of 1 to 3 months. So kaya po ito ginagamit as treatment for hemolytic anemia. Okay? So next is thrombocytosis associated with IDA. So kapag may IDA ang patient, tumataas yung platelet ng 2 million. Per UL to ha, cells per UL. Pero pagka nag-undergo na ng treatment ang patient, iron therapy, let's say, it will return to normal within 7 to 10 days. Okay? Next, inflammation and diseases. Ito yung list, no? Rheumatoid arthritis, Kawasaki, etc. So, ganun din ang nangyayari, guys. Mababa muna, tapos tataas, tapos babalik sa normal. Okay? And then number 5 is exercise, induced thrombocytosis. Dito ang nangyari ay hemoconcentration. Ibig pong sabihin, nag-transfer yung plasma from the intravascular papunta sa fluid. So ano pong nangyari sa plasma, no? Bumaba po ang plasma volume. So ibig sabihin, nag-increase ang viscosity sa blood vessel, na-concentrate ang mga cells, kaya tumaas. Yan yung tinatawag natin na relative increase, di ba? Versus the absolute. Pag sinabi natin absolute, true increase talaga yon. Ito relative lang. Kasi nga po, nagkaroon lang ng fluid shift. Normal po ito ha, normal condition. And then we have the rebound thrombocytosis. So halimbawa, yung patient nag-intake ng marrow suppressive therapy. So, bababa po yung platelet count nun. Pero, after the withdrawal of the offending drug, kadalasan alcohol or methotrexate yan, yung ginagamit natin na marrow suppressive therapy. So, once na tinanggal na si alcohol or si methotrexate, bumabalik naman na sa normal nag-i-increase ang platelet, tapos babalik na po yan sa normal. Okay? Decrease muna, tapos increase bago mag-normalize. Okay? And then, finally, we have your myeloproliferative disorder. So, this, as I've mentioned earlier, is different from reactive because there is consistent increase in platelet count. Bakit consistent? Kasi sa bone marrow mismo ang problem. Uncontrolled ang proliferation ng megakaryocyte. Kaya sobrang dami ng platelets dito. Also, pati yung function ng platelet, pati yung shape ng platelet are affected. So, you have a granular or hypogranular cytoplasm for the platelet. Malalaki. Ito actually ang characteristic na myeloproliferative yung disorder. Pag nakita mo na masyadong malalaki yung platelet. You will also be able to find megakaryocyte fragments in the peripheral blood smear. Sa plasma naman, elevated ang thromboxane beta 2 at saka ang beta-thromboglobulin. In vivo, ito po yung nag-e-enhance ng platelet activation, kaya ito yung nagiging explanation kung bakit may thrombotic tendencies. Okay? And then, by the way, ito namang mga qualitative abnormalities na to, i-discuss naman natin to sa finals, pero sa ngayon, tandaan, ito pong lack of platelet aggregation response to epinephrine ang magdi-differentiate kay ET or essential thrombocythemia mula sa mga reactive thrombocytosis. Okay? So, hanggang dito lang po yung topic natin for today. So, may tanong po ba or any clarification regarding the topic? Any question? Yes? Yes?
Ma'am, ma'am, sorry po. Yung ano po, yung slide po na yan, ma'am, is the last slide po nung PPT or may continuation pa po siya? Okay.
Wala na.
Thank you po.
Of the quiz, no, regarding this concept or regarding this topic, I will ask Dean kung kailan siya magbibigay. So, sasabay na lang po ito dun sa quiz nung topic ng qualitative naman. Okay? So, tapos na kayo, 'di ba?